so many people on the far, far, far left, the super progressive left, right, that is like telling us how to live our lives, why they're fully medicated, multiple medications to numb out how miserable they are in their fucking lives, man. It's like, if you're going to tell me how to live my life, I need to list the medications you're on before I hear how I should be living this wonderful life to walk on water, right? Yeah. If you're on like that's 3 or 4 of these things.
That's true of comedians too, dude. Yeah. How many people are sitting on stage now? They're telling us how to live our lives, everything that's wrong with America. They're single. They're on meds. They're either brutal alcoholics or in AA because they'll murder someone if they get drunk again. They have no kids, no future of a family. They're deeply mentally disturbed, powerfully suicidal. If they haven't killed themselves yet, they're thinking about it. And here we are going, tell me more. Tell me how to live my life, you stand-up comedian loser.
Right. I mean, we all, yeah, for sure. And that's a big problem with LA right now is like, there's nobody provocative. It's all the same thing. I know exactly who you are as you're walking up and you're making comments on things that I don't think you're qualified to make. You know, they had, when Liz Traeger went on MSNBC and was telling Bernie Sanders that he should learn to dress. I'm like, you look like a fucking sack of potatoes, lady. Yeah. Like, what are we fucking talking about?
She looks like me if I transitioned.
Yeah. Like she's like, I don't know. I just hope she's on the spectrum to explain her behavior because that
there's
you're like,
so many of these spinster bitches too. They're not just like shitty and boring and not capable of telling you how to improve your life, but they're trying to sabotage your life out of revenge. Like Chelsea Handler sits there and for her show, she does this commercial where she says, I'm having Thai food tonight because I can order whatever I want because I don't have to ask a man what I can have for dinner. And you're like, bitch, if my wife said we're getting Thai, I'd go, what? Oh, okay. You don't say no Thai for you. Make me a lasagna. And then you got Whitney Cummings talking about how great it is to be a whore and how you don't need a man, and Sarah Silverman talking about how boring it is to have kids and how divorce is okay. And then you have who's that other one, Ryan, the chick who always says, "I like being single. I'm glad I got divorced." People always talk about kids. I don't.
Jen
want kids.
Kirkman, I think is who you're talking about.
She's the worst.
And it's like, lady, stop. It's like someone screaming they're not gay 24 hours a day. Just go suck a dick. You clearly hate being childless and you're trying to wreck our lives. That's what pisses me off about them. They're trying to sabotage the American family in the name of comedy, but it's really just about revenge.
Older females really want everybody to join in their misery. They completely and utterly lie to younger women about how they should live their life. When comics come up to me and ask me like, hey, give me some tips in comedy, I go, here's what I did and my results, and here's what my really successful friends did. Yeah. Pick and choose what you want to do. Young, old feminists are like, toe the line, as they go home to 1,000 cats and box wine and they just stare at the phone hoping somebody calls them, right?
That's what I think is kind of interesting. You're almost starting to see it now with younger female comics who are having a lot of success. Like I was watching Taylor Tomlinson's podcast earlier, and she's talking about like, she's like, I got to think about where I'm going to raise my children and what I'm going to do. She just moved to New York to be with Sam, and so it's like you're starting.
That's a funny couple.
Oh yeah, Taylor and Sam Morrow.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like this thing where she's talking about doing this stuff, and all of like her mentors, like Whitney and Nikki Glazer and all these people are like, oh, don't have kids, you'll fucking ruin your career, you'll do this and everything else. And she was just like, fuck you, I'm leaving town. Like, I'm gonna have a family, I'm gonna have children, I'm gonna do these things, and I'm gonna be successful. I mean, that's the thing that's so crazy to me is that, like, you look at a guy like Bert who goes on the road and has 2 kids, talks about his family, it's a big part of his act. Where's the female counterpart to that? It's like South Park made fun of my pussy, my vagina, like that being all that women talk about, and yet, we haven't seen any female comedian go out there and do that. The closest thing you have is Ali Wong, who just did an hour.
Yeah, Ali Wong seems very happy to be married. She's happy to be pregnant.
She just did an hour special about wanting to cheat on her husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last special, spoiler alert.
Glazer is, I don't put her in that same category of I'm glad I don't have kids. She seems to be like, I'm sad I'm alone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm staying in my parents' house.
Yeah.
And I watched her last special, or I can't remember if it was just a bit on some other big show, but she's like, yeah, guys like to face fuck me. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I don't have to do anything. And everyone's laughing and clapping. And I'm sitting there because I've known her for about 10 years, or I should say I knew her well 10 years ago. And I'm just like, I feel like she's my daughter, and I'm just seeing my daughter up there talking about getting skull fucked and sort of spacing out mentally. And I'm just like, what is this, like a rape class? Are we learning about therapy from someone who was sexually assaulted? It's fucking depressing.
Well, I've known her for like 8 years, and she had a show on Comedy Central called Not Safe.
Yeah, which, by the way, you know the story. Like, Nikki Glazer's great. I had sold a show called The Naughty Show, and they came up to me and they go, "Oh, we love the show. We just don't like we don't like you."
Yeah,
and then it rolled in.
It rolled into that show.
Yeah, it rolled into that.
It's funny how these women are like, it's because of sexism we're not invited to comedy. We're just as funny as men. And you go, okay, come on in. And then what do they do when they're in? Want to see my tits? Let's talk about my cunt. I got fucked. Blowjobs. This guy tried to, and then it evolves into this guy tried to rape me. He's evil. Why am I always getting raped? And then, as you say, it evolves into, I'm glad I didn't have kids. I like having tons of boyfriends. I'm a colostomy bag for everyone's cum. They call me at 4 in. And you're like, so all your shit is sex jokes or relationship or your tits or your vagina? Like, that's like 100% of black comics doing 100% race comedy 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, come on, ladies, we need some more stuff.